Hi, welcome back to the channel and welcome to yet another video. If you haven't been here before, my name's Lee. I run this channel with my son Ollie. We're based here in Shenzhen in China, city of Shenzhen in China, and we make lots of different content on this channel. So we have opinion, we have technology, we have infrastructure videos, and we have videos about travel and food. So there's kind of a whole mix of different content on here. So considering having a look through there. And if you do like the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button. Okay, so the Beijing Winter Olympics has recently finished. And as far as I can see and tell, it was an absolute massive success. I mean, just before I carry on, I have a special guest with me today. And can anybody guess who it is? Here we go. This is a special guest. This is Bing Duan Duan. And Bing Duan Duan, if none of you know, but I'm sure you all do, was the mascot of the Winter Olympic Games. And he sort of went viral almost worldwide. In China, there was huge lines of people waiting at stores to try and buy one. And people were paying really lots of money to get their hands on a Bing Duan Duan. Now, mine is a little one, and I got given this when I went to see some Olympic venues, the big air ski jump. I got kindly given this, but there is also another mascot, and I'm going to talk about this in a little while, and that's for the Paralympics. But anyway, getting back to the Winter Olympics, as I said, it was a great success. Now, what confused me a little bit is if you listen to journalists from Western media, it almost sounds like they were at a different Olympics to the athletes. We had many journalists from Western media complaining about food, complaining about COVID restrictions, and generally just complaining about all these kind of things. They seem to be more interested in reporting on these things than actually the sports themselves. And yet from the athletes, we had a very different take. There was a huge amount of videos online from various athletes and showing how great the Olympic Village was, showing how friendly the people here were, also showing how good China did by hosting the Olympics in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. And they did do an absolutely fantastic job. It was a really difficult task to host this Olympics and bring all these people in from all over the world and make sure they were safe from COVID. And they did that, and they did a great job. Sadly, that meant the athletes couldn't explore too much around Beijing because they had to create a bubble that the athletes lived in. Also, the bubble extended to Zhangjiakou, where some of the other events were taking place. And they had this super high-speed train that went between Beijing and Zhangjiakou. And that had all the latest 5G and communication stuff on board. That was really pretty cool. But I think one athlete summed it up, and that was Aaron Blunk. And here's a small clip of what he said.
As far as China being here for Beijing 2022, they have honestly done a stellar job with the whole COVID protocol. I didn't really know what to expect. Being stateside, you kind of heard some pretty bad media, and that is completely false. It's actually been phenomenal. Everybody from staff to COVID testers to accommodation, it's probably honestly one of the better Olympics that we've been to. So
I just think all the people in the staff within the Olympic Village are so genuine and kind, and they're such a happy, they're always waving their hands, so excited, and it's just refreshing and it's nice to see.
Now, interestingly, he actually had his Twitter account suspended or blocked because of that tweet. And this just shows you how Western media, I feel, try to censor the positive news that comes out of China. Now let's continue on and talk about the Paralympic Winter Games, which generally always follows the main Winter Games. And this is an event for athletes who have disabilities to compete with each other in winter sports. And I actually personally think these people are amazing, because winter sports is difficult enough if you're fully able-bodied, but to compete in these sports when you have physical disabilities is just amazing, and it must be so much more difficult for those athletes to train. And like I said, for the main Winter Olympics, those athletes have trained for many, many years, worked really hard for their chance to come and try and win medals here. Now, I talked about Bing Duan Duan, and that was the mascot for the main Winter Games. And the Paralympic Winter Games even has its own mascot, Zhu Rong Rong. And Zhu Rong Rong represents communication and understanding between different cultures. And that's something I think we need to see more of in the world. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of a history of the Paralympic Games, how it came about. Now, it came about after the Second World War. There was a lot of soldiers and other personnel in hospitals with disabilities. They had missing limbs or other disabilities. And it was all down to a German doctor who was at the time working in a British hospital. And not only did they have these physical disabilities, but many of the people with these disabilities were finding it difficult to psychologically come to terms with their illnesses. So they were getting depressed. But this German doctor who was working in the UK hospital found that moderate exercise was a massive help to overcoming these issues. So the first sport he started, he got these patients involved in, was wheelchair polo. And then secondly, it was wheelchair basketball, and then wheelchair archery. And then some of these physically disabled athletes also started getting involved in winter sports. And the first Paralympic Games was held in 1976 in Sweden. And from a Chinese point of view, the first team participated in the Salt Lake City Games in 2002. This year in Beijing will be the 13th Paralympics, and there are 46 nations competing in a total of 78 events. Now, if we look back at the main Winter Olympics, Norway took the top spot in the table, followed by Germany, and China did really, really well, coming in at third place, just one gold medal ahead of the USA. Now, China, it looks going into the future, could become a powerhouse in winter sports. The Winter Olympics had a massive effect on winter sports in China. So much interest. And I don't know whether some of you know this, but some of the best snowboard and ski runs are actually in Xinjiang in China. And I'm hopefully going to get there at some point once my treatment's finished, so I can check some of those out for myself. I'd actually like to go to Xinjiang in the summer and again in the winter, because I guess it's two very different places at different times of year. I'd like to finish up this video by wishing all the Paralympics the very best of luck, and hoping that Beijing can have a very, very successful Winter Paralympics. I'm sure they will. Anyway, that's all for now. As always, goodbye and take care.